I'm going to use this example here, which I'm using as an example essentially of some things here are definitely what not to do, but there are things in this short extract here that probably could and would get a pass. They could probably stay. But other things would be better removed. So I'll just read it out to you. In the dim lit alley, Alara clutched the mysterious pendant. This amulet is supposed to change my life, she thought to herself sadly. A wicked-looking blade hung at her side, a constant reminder of the dangerous path she now walked. Sadness flooded through her. The weight of her mission pressed heavily on her shoulders. Calmly, she slipped into the throng of the marketplace, attempting to blend in with the bustling crowd. She knew she must gather information without drawing attention to herself, aware as she was of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. There we go. So colour-coded now. And as I said, some of this could probably get a pass, but as a line and copy editor, I don't think I'd be giving the words in yellow a pass, and I want to explain to you why. So in the dimly lit alley, Alara clutched the mysterious pendant. You want the reader to be the judge of whether this pendant is or is not mysterious. And there are other words within this opening of this extract that imply that the pendant is mysterious. The mere fact that Alara is clutching the pendant tells us that there's something important about that pendant. So it's significant in some way or another. So the reader does not need to be told that the pendant is mysterious. Perhaps that pendant could be more described. Maybe it's got a crack in its surface. Maybe it's got something about its physical description that gives you the sense that it's mysterious without laying it on thick and telling the reader that it's mysterious. Then it goes on to say, this amulet is supposed to change my life, she thought to herself sadly. Again, here we've got the adverb sadly, but we don't need it because this amulet is supposed to change my life, is what she's thinking. Well, you're getting the implication there that the amulet hasn't changed her life yet, and that is a disappointment. We can get the implication that that thought is a sad thought, so we don't need to be told that that thought is a sad thought. So two more examples of this then. A wicked-looking blade hung at her side. A wicked-looking blade hung at her side. Let the reader be the judge of it being a wicked-looking blade. What is it about the blade that gives the impression that it's wicked-looking? Is it the shape? Is it the design? Is it some sort of inscription? Is it something? Allow the readers to infer and use their inference to decide that it's a wicked-looking blade. And then the last one there, calmly she slipped into the throng of the marketplace. I think for that one, I think it's a case of sort of redundancy because she's slipping into the throng of the marketplace anyway. Slipping, it's not she pushed or she rushed or she barged, it's she slipped. And you've got those soft, sibilant sounds. She slipped into the throng of the marketplace. That already feels calm without having to sort of say that it's calm. So they're the sort of obvious ones there. And yes, I have highlighted, but in a different colour, dangerous, sadness, and bustling, so some other sort of emotion words, but sometimes you might feel like they have a path because that one there, it's a metaphorical dangerous path, I would imagine, a constant reminder of the dangerous path she now walks. We don't need a physical description of the path, it's being used metaphorically there, so it's all right to have dangerous path. Sadness flooded through her, it's up to you. You could describe that, like what does sadness flooding through somebody look like? Is that something that you can see in their physical actions? Is there something in the shoulders? Is there something in the face? Is there something in the, you could do something with that. I mean, the shoulders are already mentioned there. The weight of her mission pressed heavily on her shoulders. We've got in this extract as well, we've got quite a bit of doubling up. So she's slipping into the throng of the marketplace. So she's slipping in, attempting to blend in, but we already know that she's slipped. So that sort of gives the impression that she's probably trying to blend in anyway. And then it's the throng of the marketplace and it's a bustling crowd. So I sort of feel like quite a lot, that's quite sort of overdoing it a little towards the end there. Now, I want to mention the end of the extract because I think it links in well with what Andy was talking about with perspective and POV. She knew she must gather information without drawing attention to herself, aware as she was of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. How close in are we to Alara? So she knew she must gather information without drawing attention to herself. Feels like an internal thought that we're getting access to. But then, aware as she was of the dangers that lurked in the shadows, feels more zoomed out. It feels like the narrative perspective is further away. And that one there, I had it as an example of, would you leave it or would you not? The dangers that lurked in the shadows, excuse me, that could potentially get a pass. But it depends, for me as a line editor, that depends on whether the dangers that there's something about that aware as she was, the dangers that lurks in the shadow, would that get the green light or not? Depends very much on the narrative perspective and how closely in with Alara we are, not just in this scene, but generally. So that could be a point of view glitch, jar, and that's something that I wouldn't necessarily be picking up on because of the show and telling. I'd be thinking about it, but I'd be picking up on that for POV and perspective as well. So if we could just move on a slide, Andy. So showing and telling, tells are fine as placeholders. Tells are fine sometimes anyway, because if you had a full novel of show, it would be like reading through treacle. It'd slow the pace right down. So for example, if you had a character and they were looking through a filing cabinet, you might just need to tell the readers that they've skipped past 19 files and blah, 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 blah. You might just need to tell them that, because if you show everything, if you sort of show it becomes painstaking. It's meant to be a quick activity. So sometimes tells are needed, but shows, when you want shows, is when you want your reader to really be immersed in a scene and you really want to deepen the scene. Readers are probably more likely to remember the show scenes, the deep scenes. When you put the book down, when you finished it, it's those show scenes that will have had the most impact on you as a reader. The tell can just sort of pass you by, and it's just getting through the story. And of course, you have to get through the story, but there's a difference between the scenes that are just that are experienced, I suppose is what I'm saying. Some scenes are more experienced, and you don't experience everything in a story because that's just not actually possible to do. But certain scenes that you really want to highlight, and those are the ones where you want to spend your time to make sure that they are as rich as they can be. So um, to think about that wicked looking blade, I'm so surprised that actually just about every edit I do has an X looking something in it. I think surely I'm not going to find it in this manuscript, and lo and behold, I find it. It's a wicked looking this, or it's a modern looking that, like whatever it is. And I feel like it's a placeholder that authors have forgotten to go back to. And also, but that actually makes it a really easy win. If you're on the lookout, and it depends whether you've hyphenated it or not, if you're on the lookout for the hyphen looking descriptions, that's a really easy find and have a control F, look it up in your manuscript, and they're really easy ones to fix. So describe what is it that's modern looking or wicked looking about it. Trust your readers are intelligent and they want to infer, they don't want to be spoon fed, and they want to have a more immersive experience.